Hey, sports fans, good evening to everyone out there across the world. It don't matter if you're tuning in from a small box in a corner, don't matter if you're on a big screen, don't matter how big it is or how small. We appreciate you for tuning in. And I am here this evening as some of the guys will be getting out this crazy weather as they'll be coming in the studio as well with SEC Sean, who does such a great job with us with our NASCAR, bringing it to you, as well as that Texas high school flavor on the mix side with that. And I appreciate everything you do for us as well. And, bringing me up to date with the NASCAR. So, not to hold your introduction, how's it going this evening, SEC Sean? Good to see you in the building this evening as well.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, I like all ball. College football, you name it. If there's pretty much a ball involved or a puck, I'm pretty much involved with keeping up with it. Or at this point, if it's got a steering wheel and 4 tires, I'm pretty much on top of it. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love my NASCAR. Did a show last night. Season cranks up. Well, we get racing again on Sunday, but real season kicks up after the Super Bowl. But something fun, something neat. I have to go back in and check. Like I said, I set up that fantasy league in NASCAR. Go see if anybody's joined that. I put the password and all that stuff on the Facebook page, the WTP Sports Dude Facebook page.
Yes,
so
sir.
People could find that there. And other than that, man, I'm just trying to keep up with some college ball. My Aggies are on a bye week this week in the midweek, so we don't play till Saturday. So kind of keeping up with some of these other bangers we got kicking right now.
Yeah, definitely, man. And as you speak on those bangers, we had a banger last night. It was one we talked about a lot throughout the season, within our little text, our secret text messages as we talk. We had Arizona and BYU. And, for me, everybody know I'm so AJ DeBansa. That's my guy. This Arizona team he went against, along with his buddies and Richie Rich and Wright, along with Keita. This Arizona team is tough. I would say that was like watching the national championship game in late January. It was a good thing to be snowed in if you was able to see that game last night. What was your thoughts on Arizona? We'll get to AJ as we've already talked about him throughout this month. But what is your thoughts on this Arizona team who's holding this number 1 spot? And they seem like the team that could actually take on any challenge. And so far, they've done it this year as they still stand undefeated.
Well, Arizona, they've been, good Lord, I'd have to go look at their schedule, but they've played a pretty rough little schedule in non-con, too. I know they played Florida, which, say what you want about Florida being, Florida's down, whatever. They're still the defending national champions, and they've got a huge front line. They can rotate 3 or 4 dudes in that are set. They got that one guy who's 7'9". It's insane. So Arizona kind of is one of those teams that I think they can beat you in multiple ways. We talked about it during football season with Texas A&M. Unfortunately, it didn't end the way we wanted, but we talked about A&M in the middle of the season, how they can beat you in a shootout. They can beat you in a slugfest. They can come from, I feel the same with Arizona. There's no game they can't adjust to. If it's everybody's defense is lackluster, they're going to be, okay, we'll just have to score 100. If the defense is locked down, cool, we'll beat you 50-48, I don't see a big weakness with that Arizona team. That was probably the game of the year for sure so far. Yeah. There may be others that will beat it, but I'm going to tell you another another candidate for game of the year was, if anybody didn't see it, was last Saturday. was the Missouri, I want to say Missouri-Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
Missouri hit a 3 to tie it on the guy's only made field goal of the game, and then hit a 3 in overtime to win it. So
To win.
That was another candidate for game of the year right there. But Arizona looks the part. They look really solid in all aspects that I see.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, post game, his guys showed up in that second half. He was in a foul trouble early. Koa Pete, who I'm mentioning, he's pure talent. And this is a freshman that we're talking about. We talk about AJ DeBansa, freshman, talking about Koa Pete, and not to mention his counterparts, the other freshman Burries. But when you have that leadership in Bradley, the way this Arizona team coming at you in ways down low, they may be the strongest team in college basketball. The way they played down low, it was tough for BYU, and the way their defense played against opposing players as Richie Sanders, Robert Bright, and knowing what they bring to the table, locking in on the shooters and kind of letting AJ do what he do. This Arizona team is tough, and it's good to see you in here, Doug Jones, our man Doug. He said, "Good evening, my dudes." He said, "Nebraska looks nice. Dukes looks dominant at home as usual." He said, "I'm still on University of Houston, best coach, and that is Sampson. And Sampson has got them boys moving. And that Houston team, another great freshman. If anybody's not paying attention to, make sure you check out Fleming's foe. That boy is a monster. We seen what he did last week, but overall, this Big 12 right now, me and SEC Sean was talking about right before we came on. We think this Big 12 may be the best conference right now in college basketball this year. When you get freshmen like Flemings, you get Koa Pete, you get AJ, not to mention it's another I can't think of the guy. It's one over in I can't think of the school. I'm sorry. One I think of Baylor. It's another school, and just to see the improvement on this Big 12, and we got our guy coming in as you seen him jump in. I ain't gonna shake nothing. I'm gonna come right to you. Low post, mid post, high post game sports in the building, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going this evening, post game?
Going well. How you doing, fellas?
Man, feeling pretty good, man. Getting into this Big 12, Arizona BYU talk, college basketball on the men's side, and we freestyling today. We got so much more talk coming, and it's gonna hit them in different waves. But give us your thoughts on the team you picked number 1 weeks ago. Your main man, freshman phenom over there, Koa Pete, who got busy in the second half. Talk to us about this Arizona BYU banger in which we all was tuned in for last night.
Yeah, Moss. I mean, my takeaways is that Arizona is just the best team in college basketball right now. AJ DeBansa may be the best player, but the best team is the Arizona Wildcats. And how do they get it done, man? Their defense is unbelievable. They can hurt you in scoring in a multitude of ways. They have everything. I don't think this team really has a weakness. It maybe if you want to nitpick, you would say 3-point shooting, but you really have to nitpick to say that. I mean, the guy Burries, man. I believe the other kid Bradley. This this team is unbelievable, man, and they proved a lot to me last night, beating a hungry BYU team who's going to be in play when it comes March Madness, in my opinion. So Arizona, just simply the best team in college basketball, bro.
I agree. And they went to a tough environment. We know what Provo is like in the football world, but now in this basketball world, it's just the same at home. If you haven't watched any of them BYU home games, their crowd is crazy. Having AJ and for Arizona to come in, like you said, man, who cares about the three ball when you're getting it done the old fashion, way, and they get the three ball with and ones. And that's one thing about this Arizona team. They come at you in waves, like you said. You got Bradley, you got Burries, you got Koa Pete, not to mention the 7-footer they have. It's crazy work that this team really has in Arizona. And like you said, I think we all can agree that they are the best team in college basketball right now. And SEC Sean, he's talking to Doug, and he said he liked Houston. Also, they are always tough. And talk to me a little bit about this Houston team, SEC Sean, because me personally, I watch Sharp, but this Flemings kid, if you don't have this phenom freshman Flemings, I think this Houston team is, I don't know, I don't think they're in the top 20. That's how talented this young freshman is. And for me, I know, you know how crazy I get with my comparisons and how I look at things. It seemed like he's in Houston doing what a man that just got his jersey retired in Chicago did for that organization, but he's doing it on a college level. Talk to us about this Houston team.
Well, before we jump into Houston real quick, I'd mentioned a minute ago about Arizona's non-con schedule.
Yeah.
I didn't realize who all they played.
Tough.
Dude, they opened beating Florida, beat UCLA, beat UConn, beat Auburn, beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So as of right now, Arizona is the SEC champion from what I can tell, because they beat damn near every SEC team. Now, they're not all blowouts, don't get me wrong, but you ain't got to blow them out.
Yeah.
As long as you have one more point than they do, that's all that matters when that buzzer hits zeros.
Yes, indeed.
A 1-point win means just as much as a 40-point win.
Yeah.
So, Houston is Houston. I've watched a little bit of their games. My main problem with watching Houston games is here lately, they've been on the same time as A&M, kind of like the Ohio State thing I had. So, obviously, if given my choice, you see where I'm going. Plus, this A&M team is really fun to watch. If you haven't watched them, you should check them out there. They remind me of the Nolan Richardson Arkansas teams. Real quick, I don't know if y'all heard, but the other day they played Mississippi State. Mississippi State has that kid Hubbard, and he asked Rylan Griffin in the second half of the game. A&M was up by like 15. Pretty much knew what was going on with the game, and he just straight up asked Rylan Griffin, "Hey man, are y'all going to stop pressing anytime soon? Because we're getting tired." And Ryan said, "Man, we tired too, but unfortunately, no, bro. We ain't going to stop till the buzzer stops."
Yeah.
That's what I like. So, but Houston under Kelvin Sampson, who I think is still he gets his nod, but I think Kelvin Sampson is still an underrated coach.
Oh yeah. Very underrated.
I think Kelvin Sampson is one of the not just greatest basketball coach. I think he's a great leader of young men. And that's just as important as the X's and O's in this day. And you know, he defense, man. He wants to win. He would be happy winning games 40-28. He doesn't care. He wants to rebound. He wants to. We've all heard the phrase growing up playing sports. He wants to get in your jockstrap on defense. Yeah. And there's just no other way to put it. I guess you could say get in his jersey, but we all know the other phrase for sure. Mm-hmm. And that's what he wants. Tough nose, get in your face, play defense, rebound the basketball, you know, and make timely shots when, you know, they're there. Run when you need to, hold it when you don't. Be efficient on the offensive end. And that's Kelvin Sampson. It sounds boring when you think about it because it's not this high flying up and down the court, all the, you know, back in. But it's a proven commodity that it wins. So I like the Houston team. I'm really curious because Arizona hasn't run into Texas Tech or Houston yet either.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. Those two games I can promise you I'll probably watch. But that Houston team's always going to be a tough out, man. It's just how it is.
when you speak on Texas Tech's post game, I know you keyed in like you trying to unlock the chamber with the money bag in it, and we not talking WWE, we talking WTP Sports News. So give me your thoughts on this Texas Tech team. They got a topping, brother, and I think that's the third of these guys looking to make his step towards the NBA. And I think he's the one that's going to really put a stamp, on this NBA as he's doing right now in the college field. What's your thoughts on this Texas Tech team?
Another team to look out for, bro. As well as the Houston team. I really like the Houston team. If you were here last year, I predicted Houston to win the championship. They had was it LJ Cryer? They
LJ
lost
Cryer.
him, but man, Uzon and all those guys. And they lost the championship off of, I would say, a kind of flukish play. That was something we really didn't see in college basketball. But I definitely think and who you say, A&M or Tech?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech is definitely in play, bro. That's a team. That's another team to look out for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And just thinking, it's crazy that we talking college basketball, and we haven't mentioned the ACC, the SEC, even the Big Ten, because this Big 12 is really big this year. So respectively to the other conference, we have the SEC, ACC, but I think the Big Ten is that team right behind the Big 12 this year. Then you have that SEC followed by the ACC. I think we're seeing a change in the things with this portal. It's so much with the NIL going on. I think we're starting to see that landscape change on the college basketball side. So I think it's just something to look at now that we've seen the Big Ten take over the reins in college football, respectively. Now we're looking to see who's going to take over the reins, but what's going to be the next phase of what we're looking at in college basketball. Any
Let
thoughts
me,
on that?
let me ask y'all a question. I know we still got a lot of time left. It's still relatively early. I know
Oh yeah,
March is right around the corner. Out of the Big Ten, ACC, SEC, and Big 12, which conference is likely to have the reigning or the national championship this year? Just the conference. Where's the national champion going to come from?
man.
That's a good question. And Moss, I did mention the
Whew.
SEC earlier. I just mentioned how bad Arizona.
I'm gonna stay in the
beat hell
Big
out of
12
them.
with this one.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mentioned the SEC, just how bad Arizona beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a question posed. Moss, you can go first because I'm gonna need some time to think about that one. So I'm gonna let Moss go because I know he'll ramble for a while.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, it's a good question. I'm glad you said that. I'll be talking. I'm going Big 12. Just I felt that was a national championship type atmosphere, type game yesterday. Even though it was in Provo, I'm a big BYU fan this year. I'm BYU from here on out. I switched. Everybody know I went from Big Blue Nation, to BYU. I did that solely on AJ DeBansa, Richie Rich from last year. I've watched him, Igor Denham, he over there in Memphis doing his thing. So, I pay attention to Brooklyn. I'm sorry, Igor Denham over in Brooklyn doing his thing. So I pay attention to this team in BYU, and I'm going Big 12. It looks like we're looking at a possible champion in last night's Big Monday matchup.
I think the Big 12 would definitely. I mean, the two conferences that if you made me choose today, I'd probably have to go with the Big 12. The Big 10's a close second to me, very, very close. But I think the Big 12 potentially has a couple more caliber with when you start throwing in Arizona, Iowa State, Tech, Houston, BYU. I mean, Yeah, I know, and I know the Big Ten mainly because I see our boy One Take down here, Zay down here. He said Big Ten, and
Say
I
good
can
to see you, man.
honestly say you're splitting hairs when you're dividing those two conferences right now because you're sitting Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, um, Nebraska. I mean, so you're splitting
Big
hairs
Ten.
with who's first, but I think Arizona is a little bit better than all of those. So I'd give the nod to the Big 12. Now, I'll say this. If the bracket fell right, I could see you having, and it's a long shot, but it wouldn't, if this fell out, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't surprise me if you had all Power Four conferences with a representative in the Final Four. I could see a Florida team getting hot and making it. I could see Duke. I could see Arizona. I could see a Nebraska, Michigan. I could see something along those lines. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened. It's a long shot for that to even happen, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
Got City League TV in the book.
What else, City League? I mean, fellas, the question is easy for myself because the best team resides in the Big 12. I don't think Arizona is going to see a better player for the rest of the season outside of Devansa. They held him to like 6 for 24 shooting.
Crazy.
This team is built correctly. Listen, every basketball coach need to get their pen and pad and take notes when it comes to this Arizona team. Length, toughness, rebounding, shot blocking, guard play, big shot guard play, perimeter defense, interior defense, good coaching. This team has it all. I'm not betting against Arizona for the rest of them. They might go undefeated to a championship. That's how much I like this team. And that's no disrespect. There's a lot of elite teams across the country. But for my money, I'm sticking with Arizona.
I got a good question on that. But before we get to that, we got to welcome the man that put us all together. WTP for life. We got Unc in the building. We not worried about his arrival being late. He could be an hour late. He put us together for us to do what we're doing. How's it going this evening? Are you out of that weather and cooling off now?
Man, I'm out of that weather. I had to drop my grandson back off, man. And listen, I don't wish that kind of weather on nobody, man. It is cold out there, cold out there, cold out there.
Yes, indeed. What's your thoughts as we talk about this Arizona team being so big as they are, the dominance that they have, and when I think about them, could this Arizona team, they have 0 losses. If we think about Miles Simon, we think about Bibby, we think about Jason Terry, we think about the big guy that looked like Koa Pete down low. If we think about that run that Arizona made then, is this team as good or even better than that Arizona Wildcats team?
I mean, when you look at them, they look like they might be better than that team, but that team was loaded. They had really, really great chemistry. Will this team be able to show throughout the season that their chemistry can stay together game in, game out, to be able to win games on the road, down the stretch, when they're going to get tested in some of those hostile environments that they're going to have to go into in the Big 12? I really like this Arizona team. I feel like post game feels they might be the best team in the country. He feels like they are the best team in the country. I can say that they probably are too at this point in the season, but we all know how that thing goes. Once you get to that tournament, all you got to do is have one bad game, man, and somebody catch you slipping, or you meet a matchup that gives you issues, and then you can go down in the game. But I really like this Arizona team. I think they got a really good group of guys, really good chemistry. They played together quite a bit. I expect them to make a good run in the tournament. I really like this Arizona team.
City League, we got T1 in the building, man, and we appreciate everything you do. We know you on a day off. We know you'll be live at one of the high school games throughout the city. And he chimed in with a great question. And he said, is anybody looking at little old Nebraska out of the Big Ten? Anybody got thoughts on this Nebraska team who's sitting undefeated, top of the Big Ten, transfer portal, NIL? Is that paving the way?
I'm going to tell you, Nebraska, my take on them is, and this reminds me firsthand, I was watching it before we got on today, watching some of them in Michigan play. This Nebraska team reminds me of that little annoying Penn State team from a couple years ago. I think it was Penn State that just kept shooting threes all day long. And they literally, in the tournament, A&M was favored by like 14 over them, and Penn State blew them out. It wasn't even funny. They hit like 30 damn threes, I think, in the first like 2 minutes of the game. It was insane. And that's what this Nebraska team reminds me of when I was watching them. They just run up the court, pass it a couple times, shoot a three. A&M plays that kind of style now, up tempo, just looking for shots. But that Nebraska team looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. And if their shots, now the problem with that is if your shots aren't falling, can you supplant and do other things? That's the trick. But so that's my thought on Nebraska, but that's who they remind me of.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I like this Nebraska team as well. The difference between Nebraska and Arizona, in my opinion, if you look at their schedules, I think Arizona by far has had the tougher road. Now, that's no knock on the Big Ten. There's some really good ball clubs in the Big Ten. But Arizona's non-conference play was brutal, and they came out undefeated. So any team you name, I'm gonna give the edge to the Arizona Wildcats. But Nebraska is they're undefeated in the tough Big Ten conference, so you definitely can't sleep on them.
Yeah, to sort of go the opposite direction of what my man postgame just said about Nebraska, even though they haven't played as much competition maybe so far as Arizona has played, they're in the Big Ten where they're going to play some really, really good competition, which is going to really, really prepare them for the tournament. And I think that they can make a really good run. But like my man SEC Sean said, you got to knock down those threes and be consistent at it. You can run into a team who can guard the perimeter really, really well, and they'll mess around and pop you. So if Nebraska can knock down their threes and play the style of play they want to play without it being hindered by some really good perimeter defenders, then they can be in good shape. But I think that they're a really good team. They're playing in a really good conference. They'll be a really good test, and I think they'll be a really good team going down the stretch in the tournament, possibly to make the Sweet 16.
I think it's a good thing we're talking about them because I was wondering, and I checked everything. They're in the game right now at the big house, and they're only up by 4 on Michigan. They shooting 50% from deep, and I think as you live by it, we already know the rest. So I think this team is a great team to watch. I think they made for March Madness because if they miss some shots, they're going to start knocking them down at some point. I think they're a scary team. We're not used to seeing them this high in the rankings. They're doing what they're doing out of straight great coaching, not only coaching, but they play together as a team. So when you're playing together as a team and you shooting the 3-ball consistently, I think that only shows by what you do. And you're in the top 5 battle and you're up against a great Michigan team. And they could go and be another team that's undefeated as we open up tomorrow's newspaper, turn on our phones and get on ESPN to see what's going on. So just some things to look at when we talk about this Nebraska team moving forward through the rest of the season. The next We got a question in here from Doug. He said, "What about Miami of Ohio? Who do they got on that squad?" Talking about the Red Hawks. Did they change their name? The
I
other
mean, Miami of Ohio is undefeated, but they play absolutely nobody. So, I mean, I that doesn't mean they can't get in the tournament and make some noise. We've seen that plenty of times throughout our lives. But I mean, there's so many great teams out there. I know Miami of Ohio is undefeated, but to be honest, I'm not really looking at them right now.
Yeah, I don't know what Miami of Ohio has on their team. I just know that they're undefeated at this point. But we all know that once the tournament time comes and they come up against some more quality opponents, that might go ahead and fizzle out. But we all do know that a team like a Miami of Ohio can get in the tournament and make a run. I remember years ago when our man John Warden, rest in peace to him and that Kent State team, they made a long run in the tournament. Columbus was buzzing because John is a product of Columbus, grew up in the same neighborhood with us, and that Kent State team made that run, man. We were ecstatic about that. Miami of Ohio could possibly do the same thing if they can play good, solid defense and knock down the three ball. But we'll have to wait and see on that because I don't know any players that they have on that squad. I haven't looked into them that much as of yet.
and I'm actually pulling them up and looking them up. Being 20-0 is crazy. 20-0 right now, right before March Madness. I'm gonna go ahead and predict the Miami Red Hawks go further than the Nebraska Cornhuskers. How about that? I'm gonna just go ahead and predict that. Putting our man John Wharton, rest in peace. Kent State did it. Why not Miami of Ohio? It's March Madness, baby. That's what we come to see. So I'm taking Miami to go deeper than Nebraska. Y'all heard it here first. So stay locked in on that for March Madness.
All right.
The next thing, I think we
Wait a minute.
anything else?
Yeah, I never. Hold on. Now, y'all were all jumping on Miami. Can I talk on Miami? My beloved Miami Redhawks. First off, what did you put in that coffee to make you think this team will go further than Nebraska? And then the second thing, it was share because something is not calculating here. Miami, Ohio has not played anybody, literally. They're a good story. It's really fun to see an underdog doing what they're doing. It'd be a better story if they would go up there, if they beat a Michigan, beat a Nebraska, beat a TCU. I mean, not even that. Okay, go beat Rutgers. Go beat Oklahoma. Go beat bottom feeders in the Power Four. But they haven't played anybody. Can they get hot and win a game? Of course they can. This is college basketball. We've seen 16s beat 1s lately. We've seen, teams that are 15s go into the Final Four. I mean, anything can happen in this, but I don't see that at all possible that they go further than Nebraska. First off, they're going to have to be in. If they're in, they're probably going to be a 13 or 14 seed, even undefeated. They're going to run into one of the Texas Techs, Houston's, Florida's in the first round, and that's just going to be a total mismatch for them size-wise, just alone. So, good story, just not. Don't see him doing that.
Got comments coming in. Zay said, Moss, I just realized you're the only one that don't got no gray in your hair. Zay, you can't see it, but up close, there's some gray in the beard. Got T1 live saying Moss is crazy. And then we got Doug chiming in, and we appreciate you tuning in and joining in with us as well, Doug. I believe the Redhawks have a running record against the spread. Definitely look out. like that, Doug. We gonna switch sides for a minute. Have anybody heard the big news about Mr. Sheduer Sanders' Pro Bowl appearance coming this season? I think it's a great thing. Anybody want to elaborate? Give us some thoughts, some talks on this one here. I know it's surprising for a few, but hey, regardless of how it is, I think it's great, not only for him, but I just think it's great for football moving forward.
I mean, great accomplishment for Sheduer. But all the quarterbacks, like they couldn't find a different. Like I'm happy for Sheduer, and this is going to be a great experience for him. Another feather in his cap, but I almost feel like the NFL is using his popularity to bring views to the Pro Bowl because we all know nobody watches the Pro Bowl. So it just makes me wonder if the NFL gave him the invite, the golden ticket to the Pro Bowl just so they can get their views up. Because I mean, I like Shador, but I wouldn't have predicted him being a Pro Bowler after year one.
Well, I think I agree with you for one post game that's the case. But when you go down the list of guys who have Pro Bowl worthy statistics, those guys are probably like, nah, I ain't playing in that game. So they're going down the line. This guy said, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Then you get to Shedeur Sanders, and it's really brilliant. I mean, he has a following, he has an attraction. So if I'm the NFL, I would definitely be like, hey, Shedeur, won't you play in this game, bro? Because listen, we need some viewers. You know what I'm saying? You're a hot ticket. You're a popular guy in the NFL. I think it's a really, really smart move, and it's all about getting some viewers, of course. But I don't think anybody out there thinks that Shedeur Sanders is there because he had Pro Bowl caliber stats. We know that that's not the case. But I like the fact that he's going to get a chance to go and be a part of it and be around some of the game's best players, being able to, see what it's like to be a professional. Not that he's not acting like a professional, but it's just good to be around the guys from other teams, other organizations, just to learn a little bit more about how the NFL works. So I'm happy for him. But I don't see why people are making a big old fuss about it as if the NFL picked him because he had playoff caliber stats. He's a hot item in the NFL, so you better put him out front and get you some viewers.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it's the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody watches this thing.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. I mean, it's he's in probably because somebody backed out. It's nothing taken away from Sheduer. Okay, he didn't have Pro Bowl numbers this year. Let's be real. As a quarterback, again, I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he has a chance to be a really good quarterback in this league. Pro Bowl in your first year, somebody else opted out. Something's going on. It is what it is. Again, maybe it'll get some more people tuned in because it is Shedeur Sanders. Maybe that's what they're hoping. Who knows? But it doesn't really matter to me, for my opinion. Whatever.
Do they even tackle in the Pro Bowl anymore?
Well, do they play defense in the NBA All-Star game?
Right. No, right.
I think the only All-Star game that they actually play in is the baseball All-Star game.
NHL.
No, that's turned into a 3-on-3 tournament now. It's not even a real hockey game.
And then, like for me, I like it. I like it for the fact that he's been around so many, great players. Veterans kind of give him, some of the ropes of what's going on for him to be out there in that type of atmosphere. And of course, it's going to get the views and things like that. But I like it for the fact of his growth and where he started, what he had to deal with draft day, and to come this long way to be able to be in that room with all these different guys that he didn't get to be around throughout the season to learn and gain some knowledge. He might be throwing the football to a teammate next year. We just don't know how this NFL could be.
Yeah, man. Man, to me, like the Pro Bowl used to be popping, like early 2000s when they had those challenges. All the great players played in there. You got to see Peyton Manning throw a touchdown pass to Jerry Rice. You got to see Sean Taylor, the late great Sean Taylor, rest in peace, clobber a kicker. I know y'all remember that one, but
Best hit ever.
Pro Bowl is nowhere near what it used to be.
I agree, man. I agree. City League TV, he said, please don't put this on Sheduer. He's been a rock star. The NFL helped Cleveland. The Watson contract is the worst in history. They dropped Sheduer to the 5th round to guess who? Cleveland for free. The free, as we call it. Anybody else want to comment anything as far as in just that situation? We appreciate Parlay Poll, City League TV, and One Take Zay. Make sure y'all go follow those guys on their respective channels as well as the channels you see scrolling across at the bottom. And we have so much more to talk about because it's light in the day, it's light in the night, in the evening, as we always do for about an hour, coming up here on about 45 minutes. Anything outside of this All-Star, what's your thoughts on that? The All-Star that we have coming in, with the way they selecting, got Ant-Man that didn't make the All-Star team, which is crazy to me. I don't know what to say about this NBA right now when it comes to this All-Star weekend. I'm not a fan of it, especially the dunk contest. I don't know what's going on. Any thoughts on this All-Star?
Garbage. That's what it's turned out to be. Garbage.
That's 3 bags.
Man, Moss. Back in the day, it was East versus West. Of course they joked around, laughed around, had they fun. But come that fourth quarter, when the game was on the line,
ball game,
the best of the best players in the world competed and were competitive. And we don't see that anymore. These stupid formats, man, what are they doing? Team LeBron versus Team Giannis, Team Curry versus Team LeBron, Americans versus the world. Man, stop it.
Easy. Kobe rolling over in his grave right now.
Man, he probably doing backflips. But man, listen, East versus West. I don't know if it's just this generation of players. They're not as competitive as the guys we saw. I know as the guys I saw growing up, they missing something, man. This is not. I don't get excited about the All-Star game anymore. I used to want to see Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant go at it. Vince Carter, Ray Allen go at it. Kobe versus Bron, even though Bron waved the white flag, Rob. You can't deny that. You can't deny that, my guy. But it's just not the same, man. I'm not excited. I used to couldn't wait for All-Star game weekend. Now it's just like whatever.
I'm looking for the nearest college basketball.
100%. You go back in the day, and I'm not talking the 1950s. There's some of those All-Star games in the 90s that never hit 100. And you're talking the Jordans, the Birds, the Magics. These teams weren't even scoring 100 points because they played defense against each other. They wanted to win this game. Now, what does it matter? There's no there's no rivals between the two conferences anymore because you got players from all over conferences playing on opposite teams with each other. You don't have Michael, Scotty, Dennis Rodman, Reggie Miller, name some, who AI. You ain't got none of them on a team together. You would have Michael on one team and Scotty on another. What are we doing? What happened to East versus West? You want to break it up into more and make it more of a tournament style? Fine. There's 2 divisions in each conference, right? An all-star team from each division. You want to do something different than East versus West. There you go. Make an all-star team from each division and have a tournament. I don't know. That's just, I agree with post game. I like the old style. I don't even care. I can't even tell you when the NBA All-Star game is. I used to be able to have it circled on my calendar. The dunk contest was this night. The 3-point shooting contest, all that was right here. Then we went over and we played the game. Yeah, I don't even know when it is anymore. Yeah, nor do I care to even go look it up.
Man. What's your thoughts on this, Unc?
I mean, the spectacle called the NBA All-Star is not a spectacle anymore, man. They've lost their vision on what needs to take place on that weekend. It's not what it used to be. I know they're trying to figure some things out, but I think the reason why they haven't been able to figure things out is because the players of today are not of the same mindset that the players of yesterday had. So it's going to be hard for them to come up with any kind of activities, any kind of anything to make the All-Star weekend what it used to be, man, because the players don't have the same kind of buy-in to it like they had back in the days. You know what I'm saying? They looked forward to, even though they might have been friends in the offseason or off the court, every week, week in, week out, these NBA players from they wanted to kill their opponent. They weren't thinking about being chummy with them when they was on the court. They was out for blood. Nowadays, these guys are so chummy and so cool that they don't have that same kind of mentality. I know my man Sheduer is saying it's all about LeBron, and LeBron made it this way. Maybe there might be some truth to that, but I just think the NBA players of today as a whole, they really are interested in what the ones of yesterday were like. They're just not like that, man. But I like to see the All-Star weekend get itself together, have something worth watching so that we can get back into it. Because if they don't, eventually it's going to be like the Pro Bowl, and nobody's going to be watching.
Yeah, I agree, man.
The next time I hear somebody say, so-and-so is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA All-Star game, I'm going to slap the hell out of somebody because they scoring 287 damn points. People are scoring 65 points a game. Come on, get out of here.
Listen, I'm still stuck on watching the 1986 All-Star game. You're talking about Jordan, Moses Malone, Ralph Sampson was in that game. Uncle Post, SEC Sean.
Was that not the Jordan Dominique dunk contest? 86? That was a dunk contest right there now.
So like just remembering watching that game so much out of like some of the past games, it's just like it's changed so much, even watching it in the 90s to the 2000s. I want to see an all-star game. Like you said, post game, that fourth quarter, the coach is picking his 5. Who gonna run these last 6 minutes so we could get this game in a wrap? It's not about no money. We giving these fans what they paid for. The fans came to see y'all. We're gonna get the fans what they want to see, and you just going back and forth. And me as an athlete, I would love to be in an all-star game, any kind. It don't matter if it's a rec center all-star game. I'm coming out and I'm giving the fans a show. And we did that for staff basketball games. Me and Unc played in at St. Stephen's. I never really dunked in basketball games. That was the big thing, and when I got my first dunk, the kids was going crazy. They still talk about it. And I kind of shocked myself in that dunk because I took off and dunked on one of the kids. But respectively, he was of age and, they was talking. So, outside of that, it's just I wish we could get back to that competitive nature with this All-Star game. The late, great Mamba, Zay, I feel you on that, man. He definitely brought that energy to it, man. Rest in peace. And we appreciate what he left the game and what he done with the game and how he still my GOAT, number 2 behind MJ. And then Brian is 3. Sorry,
Oh, no, that's cool. Did I hear y'all say that Anthony Edwards did not make the All-Star game?
If I'm correct, I believe my boy didn't make that All-Star.
Is that because of the fans voting, or how is that determined now? Do they still go off of fan votes?
I haven't even looked how they do the voting and shit. Like, it's the All-Star game is not even. I care less about the NBA All-Star game. I look to March Madness, and that's a month after the All-Star game, which is crazy.
I think they select the NBA players now by whoever can collect the most box tops from cereal boxes.
Bro, you hilarious. Bro, no, he not a starter, but he a reserve.
Okay, reserve. Okay, that's what I was looking. I had to look it up, but he should be a starter. That's my guy, man. He should be a starter, hands down. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
The next thing that
we talk about Prime and him and he's finding players.
Nah, that's what was. You said the Prime, Coach Prime.
Coach Prime.
That's what I was about to go into and pass it to you for the Coach Prime and the Mensa talk, because I know you have so many great things when we come to that college football talk, especially on some of these settlement issues with the things like we looking at this Mensa situation. You could take it over from here on the Mensa and the Prime, because I didn't really look into neither one as much as the others.
Well, I really only looked into the Prime and how he had it laid out. I think it is very, very interesting that out of all the coaches in college football, once again, it looks like Prime was trying to set a certain kind of precedent. A lot of coaches talked about having scrimmages, but Prime and another coach jumped out there to try to make it happen. Now we know that there's so much turmoil with these players, and they're getting this money now, and they're sort of like not behaving like professionals, even though they're getting paid like professionals. And he wants to set an example or set a precedence for these young guys to let them know, listen, people are watching you get this money. They want you to get this money. But if you don't do right by yourself, your teammates, your university, when you get this money, then you're going to make it not necessarily go away, but you're going to make stipulations come into play because you're not behaving in the right manner with this money. So I'm in total agreement with him. Finding these players for missing practices or missing meetings, doing stuff outside of football, getting in trouble. I mean, we hear every year about these players on these high-profile teams doing boneheaded stuff, getting in trouble, and you hear about them getting their one-game suspension or whatever they get. Start taking some of that bread from them, maybe they might start behaving in the manner in which they need to be behaving with this money. And I think him being a trailblazer for this is a really, really good thing because he's a well-respected coach by many of the coaches in college football and many other players. So I applaud him for jumping out front, wanting to get this thing under control with these young people, man, so that they understand and listen. Something more comes with this money than just playing football or playing basketball or whatever sport you play.
Yeah.
I mean, he runs a tight ship. That's the type of program I would send my son to attend. Discipline. These guys got to learn and have discipline to be successful in life, not just football and whatever your career path is taking you. Whatever you decide to do, you have to have discipline. You have to have respect. And I'm here for it. I applaud Coach Prime, as Rob just said. And if they mess up, hit them where it hurts, and that's the pocket. So kudos to Coach Prime and the way he's running that football program. Discipline.
Look, these players want to be paid like a CEO. Well, there comes accountability with being a CEO. Any job, there's accountability you have to be for. If I show up late every day to work, eventually I'm probably not going to have to worry about showing up late to work. So, those kind of things, these kids need to understand. $500 being late, whatever, that's fine. But there's a few coaches I would send my kid to play for. I can tell you point blank, there was one of the greatest, probably the greatest head coach of all time. I know for a fact pissed off a few families in Houston, Texas, because of the way he acted towards the mom of the family. And yes, the greatest college football coach of all time is who that is. So, I would send my kid to play for a coach like Sheduer, a coach like, I think Mike Elko runs a tight ship. A Freeman runs a good ship up there. Ryan Day, I think, runs a good ship. Those kind of guys. I would send my kid to go play for Georgia if I wanted my kid to learn how to race in NASCAR. Because apparently when you go to Georgia, you learn how to drive 197 miles an hour everywhere. So, but that's here nor there. But yeah, I agree with it. I think every college needs to do it. I don't even like $500. I want a percentage. You making $1 million a year, every time you're late, I get 1%.
Yeah. I think we totally gonna see the Prime effect. We've seen it from when he first came into the college football world. What he's doing is going to be effective, not just for his university and for his players. He's upholding student athlete. That's what we can't forget. Student athlete. That's something I think when you put this money in the air, everybody forgets. They see the green dollars. They see the Benjamin Franklins and whatever else. I'm still kids. They still got to be a student. They got to learn before they start life. Some of these students and kids, as we could say, are just at the point to where they're starting to understand life in college. And if you throw them money to tell them to do whatever with no discipline, guess what they're going to do with that money? Go waste it, and who knows what else. So what Coach Prime is doing, kudos to you, and kudos to you. Keep doing it because we need more like you, Coach. We definitely need more like you. And if you are doing it, we applaud you straight up from here to every place that you are, every building and every chair that you sit in, and every student athlete that you have. That's what we long for. I coach myself, I assist with it, and I push the kids. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do in the classroom, you can still come to practice, but you're still not going to play because it's only going to give you that discipline that coach cares because he wants me to come and practice, but he's still disciplining me for the mistake that I made. Hold them accountable. If we hold them accountable, you'll see the growth in them. And that's just our opinions. That's just how we see things.
And you know what's crazy? He put in a rule for the students not to wear their previous team's gear. Like, I only thought that would be common sense. Like if I'm at a university, if let's just say I transferred to IU from Tennessee, no way on earth I'm gonna be sitting in the lounge, cafeteria, student athletic center, class in Tennessee gear, and I'm at IU. Bro, that's crazy that he had to incorporate that rule. I just thought it was common sense.
Yeah, when that kind of stuff happens, you get that stuff to your if you got little brothers or sisters, or you get that stuff away, man. You don't keep that stuff when you go into another university. That just doesn't make any sense, man. That's just boneheaded.
What
Boneheaded.
what I don't like is we're getting away from the student athlete.
Yeah.
We're getting to the athletic student. There has to be something put in. Go back and we can talk about people like Carson Beck. I never attended classes at the University of Miami for 2 years. What? How are you even allowed to play football then?
Oh, exactly.
High school kids got to be a passing grade above 70. Some coaches I know in Texas require you to have a 75 average to start on the team. You can have a 70 and play, but you ain't a starter with a 70. I know some coaches that implement that. These guys are getting $4 million to go hang out in South Beach and play some football 16 weeks out of the year if you make the national championship game. What, something's not right here. Plus, they're getting a scholarship to go to school for free. And you're still not doing that. All you're doing is playing ball. We got a problem. Something that's got to get fixed. You should have to maintain at least a passing GPA, a 2.0, 1, whatever. You should have to maintain a passing grade. It's not that hard if you take PE, golf, underwater basket weaving, how to knit a cat out of yarn. I don't care what class you take. Take something. When I went to college, there was a class called movies. You know what we did? We watched movies and we broke them down. You know how hard that class was? Brutal to get me to go with a bag of popcorn and watch a movie. Get out of here.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, "Are you serious? This guy you're on a college campus playing for 2 years, I believe it was 2 years, was not taking any classes." Now, that's not a student athlete, because I thought student athlete meant you had to go to class. So he should have been at least taking graduate classes, working towards his master's, something. But for a guy to be able to be on campus as a grown man and not taking classes, apparently he wasn't supposed to say that. He wasn't supposed to say that, but he did. So now that opens up a whole can of worms, man.
Like I said, he had a scholarship to go to those classes. That wasn't even going to come out of his money. But you got a kid down there in Miami who wanted to go to the University of Miami but couldn't afford it, and there's a scholarship lost for that child because Carson Beck took it and didn't even use it. That's my problem.
The last thing we'll be talking about this evening, unless anybody have anything else, was one of the biggest things that we've seen late in the transfer portal is Mensa. It's reported that he's going to the Hurricanes, believe. All this craziness that's going on with his settlement. Anybody want to tap into this Darren Mensa saga, as we call things like this? And we seen it with Nico, not the same situation, but just seeing these things with this NIL is something, with this transfer portal. And we always feel that they have to get a stranglehold to it, because we're going to keep seeing situations like this arise year after year, and it's going to drag out things. And you never know who's involved and who's not involved and what it's bringing out, on the side of the university. So just something to look at. Any thoughts on this one for anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Duke because they probably missed the opportunity to get a backup plan at quarterback with Mensa leaving. They probably missed that window. That train is gone. That ship is sailed. So I kind of feel bad for Duke. But to answer your question, Moss, I don't think this is ever going to change. I, Not anytime soon. As much as I hate to say it, because the NCAA, are we relying on them to make the changes that needs to be made so we don't see situations like this where kids don't have to honor their contracts? He was signed with Duke. So, I mean, I don't see anything changing. Uh, I I just don't. I don't have faith in the NCAA.
Mhm.
Man,
Well,
if I'm a college football coach, this the kind of stuff that makes me say to myself, I'm going to coach in the NFL because this crazy mess that happens in college football now, and I understand NIL is relatively new. It's what, about 4 years old? But man, come on, man. Some kind of rules, laws, policies should be in place by now because we've seen enough of a sample size that this should not be happening. And we all know that the NCAA doesn't want to do anything because they're afraid to get sued. You got warehouses full of money. Who gives a shit if you get sued? You got plenty money. You can outlast anybody who wants to take you to court. Something has to happen. And I'm tired of these commissioners, coaches, NCAA. Everybody is kicking the freaking can down the street. Stop kicking the can down the street. Pick it up and do something about the freaking can that's in the street. Because we know what's the can. We know what the can is that's in the street. This college football thing is off the chain. Mensa and Miami should both be dealing with a consequence right now because now Duke has to miss out on something that they did everything they were supposed to do to have him. They signed him to an astronomical amount of money. He was committed to them. And then in the 11th hour, somebody like Miami can offer him more money and he jumps in the portal. Somebody need to be getting penalized for that. Mensa and Miami, because that shouldn't be happening. And it's still continuing with other schools doing the same thing, trying to get these players to jump in the portal so that they can get them. And players not even of the same caliber as Darian Mensa. Something has to give, man. College football has got to get this thing together. Otherwise, like I said earlier, if I'm a coach coaching college football, I'm going somewhere where they got some rules, some laws, some policies, some regulation, man, because I can't deal in the wild, wild west, bro.
um, real quick, Parlay, our Poe posted that Duke is suing him. They were going to. It broke earlier today that they've reached a settlement. So he's free to go. But they were going to sue for that. But they've reached a settlement, whether he gave money back, whatever. I don't know the settlement details. Didn't look into it. Just saw they reached a settlement. He's free to go where he wants now. Somebody is paying the consequence for this too, Robert, just so you know. It's called Duke Blue Devil fans.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, Duke comes out looking really soft in this. Oregon was willing to fight more. Duke looked like they were, and then they weren't. If you have a signed contract, that's a legally binding document. So, unless you're underage forging your parents' name, that document is legally binding in a court of law that this is what you said you signed your name to. Now, what would he have done? I don't know. Said he was going to sit out in a red shirt and not even play? I don't know. But it's out of hand. It's way, way out of hand. There's got to be contracts in place from now moving forward. This has got to stop. This is getting out of hand. I'm a big A&M guy, Robert. You're a big Tex guy, Florida State, Notre Dame. We can probably name a good amount of people on our squads. But 15 years ago, I could have probably damn near named you everybody on the A&M squad.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I could tell you on January 27th, I could tell you who our starting 11 on both sides of the ball were going to be come the start of next year, or the start of this year's football. I don't even know who the hell's going to be on the team anymore.
Right. It's so crazy.
I don't know if our mascot is going to get up and leave and say, I'm going somewhere else. I don't know. It's just gotten out of hand. I love college football. I will always watch college football. But I'm getting to where I used to, recruiting day, signing day, first Wednesday in February. I used to take the damn day off to watch that. Now, I don't even care because that kid ain't going to be here next year anyway. So, there has to be something done. And I don't know what the right answer. I mean, I have my answers. I think we've all kind of discussed this, and I think we all kind of agree with some of the answers. But again, we're just a bunch of dudes talking balls, so nobody's going to listen to us. I hope they listen to us and subscribe and like and all that, but the powers that be ain't going to listen to us.
As SEC Sean said, make sure you like, subscribe. You see all the channels down low, scrolling over. You see us up top. Make sure you tap that like button, tap that subscribe button, put them notifications on, get them bells ringing, because we coming through every day of the week. We're going to start to upload more, bring more posts for you, and drop more shorts for you as we always do, and come out with a lot more videos. As you've seen lately, we getting a lot more videos out to you. So we definitely appreciate all those that's tuned in and watching us on a daily, even throughout the week. If you don't get a chance to watch us live when you are tuning into us, we appreciate that as well. And at this point, we're coming well over that hour that we always try to embark on and keep dishing out flavor to the people. Is there anything anyone has to talk about before we get out of here?
Just a couple quick things real quick. You got you dead on. Be sure you pull a Happy Gilmore on them like and subscribe buttons. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy tap. And it'll work. That's for all you old people that love Happy Gilmore. So.
I like it too.
You're old too. I ain't talking about Happy Gilmore 2. I'm talking about the original. So, I'll give a quick shout out to Poe here real quick. I had mentioned this on one of my NASCAR broadcasts about this show on FS1, The Rising, following 3 of the young NASCAR up and comers. He said he's been tuning in, watching it. It's a really good watch. Kind of gives you more in depth on some of the people, the young kids coming up. I did my preview of the Clash, which is this weekend yesterday, and I found this out today, so I wanted to share it on here since this is more of a freestyle show. Was on February 12th on FS1 after they do the two dual races in Daytona, which I'll explain that more on my next NASCAR podcast. They're doing a documentary of a 25th year of Dale Earnhardt's death. I saw the trailer for it. It looks really, really, really intense. Bunch of drivers and stuff, interviews talking about how they felt, how they dealt with it. Some were rookies when it happened. Some were older veterans. Just the whole kind of spectrum of stuff. The one thing I was really upset with is I didn't see Kevin Harvick's name on it. And I was really hoping he'd be in it because he's the one who took over that car when he died. So, but that's going to be a pretty good watch. I'll give more info on it as I get it on my NASCAR podcasts and updates and reminders on it. Just looks like a really good show.
Make sure you go tap post game. Anything you got to talk to the people about, because the videos that you've been dropping post game, I've been watching them and I've been looking at them, listening to them, and you do some great work in those drops that you've been dropping lately. So just make sure you go check that out, man. Indy Breed, everything Indy, so South Bend that you can't sing, but you know he bending in that air down there in Indy. Make sure.
No, man, it's my bad, Moss.
You good? You good?
No, it's just trying to get out as much content as I can to the people. We know a lot of people don't have the best attention span, especially nowadays, where everybody has a phone in their face majority of the time. So, I try to cut it up, so that people can check out the segments, man. It's great content.
Yeah, definitely.
Outside of that, man, college basketball, men and women. Make sure y'all tuned in because we're going to be talking about that. And it's an exciting year for basketball, man. It's a lot of really good players, a lot of really good teams. It's going to be an exciting finish come March.
Definitely.
This is probably the best freshman class I've ever seen across the board. This is nasty with all these freshmen, dude.
And if we really think about it, this arguably, with so many arguments, you could talk about this like the top 5 votes. There's going to be arguments about this freshman class being the best in college basketball history when it's all said and done. I get texts about AJ DeBansa when he's on from my brother. That's how much I'm into AJ DeBansa. I need a jersey, a BYU 3 jersey, somebody. I might have to go get it myself. But, yeah, I college basketball is what I've been watching. I've been tuned into it more. I watch so many NBA highlights, but I actually watch this college basketball. And like you said, man, it's great on both sides, women's, men's. You're not going to be disappointed in your watch, especially from this point all the way to March until the national championships on both sides, respectively.
We got some breaking news. Ready for that?
Michigan lost that Nebraska lost to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michigan beat Nebraska 75-72.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Michigan got a hell of a team this year.
Yeah, they do.
Being dangerous.
You got some bangers going on right now, dude. Arkansas Oklahoma's coming to I just ended. Notre Dame up on Virginia. I know that'll make somebody here happy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they was up 16 and then they were losing. So
right.
Yeah. It's been going a banger of that game.
I mean, Providence and UConn are going at it. It's pretty good games today. We're gonna see. All I know is we got our win that mattered against that other team.
Just a quick question to think about too with the college basketball: will Purdue fall, or will they stay up top? We'll talk to y'all about that next session, but just something to think about because this Purdue team, I had them up there in the Elite 8, possible Final 4 at the start of the season, but they constantly dropping. And another team over there that's gaining strength is Unk and his Illini. They definitely moving, and they got a sensational freshman over there, along with a few other players that they got in the portal as well. So I just think we in for an amazing year as it continues with this basketball side and just indulging in so much more. Anything that you want to say to the people at all, this evening before we get out of here?
Well, we're going to be dropping some of our way too early college football predictions. Is like the top 25, top players, All-American, way too early All-American teams, all of that kind of stuff. So make sure that you hit that notification bell. So when we start dropping that series of our way too earlys, you'll get the notification and you'll know to tune in. So that'll be coming up in about a week or so.
And I don't know how many people follow it around here, but we also got college baseball fixing to crank off. And I mean, you see my name. Obviously, I love college baseball because that conference is so fun to watch baseball out of. The SEC is so fun. The ACC got some squads too now. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, the depth in the SEC is so nasty. It's so fun to watch. Every night there's a Major League Baseball pitcher on the mound.
That's a fact.
So, got that coming up. I'll be getting into some of that. I'm probably going to start breaking it down and do a top 25 of my own in a week or so. So, and you'll be happy, Rob. I'll have Texas high up on the list.
You should.
I should. They look good this year.
FSU, I know FSU up there too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But we know they swing that bat in Florida State for sure.
I'm just hoping my Aggies.
I think they can for sure.
Mossberger, before we wrap up, what do you think about y'all getting my man Trey Wisner?
Listen, I'm gonna say this. When I seen that we got Trey Wisner, it gave me feels of when we got Dalvin Cook off of his torn ACL and what he did for the Seminoles in them years, still sitting atop of ACC history of the years and what he done. I think it's a great fit for us, a great back. It's crazy that Florida State do great and amazing things when they get a running back off of an injury like a torn ACL. It's happened in the years we've played with Cook. Can't think of the other back. We had an injury and just kept it going that way. So for me, I think I like the fit. It gives us depth at running back, along with Usman Kroma, who's coming back and return, a sensational freshman who I felt very, very and spoke highly on last year. So I'm looking forward to it, as well as my guy, Big Kev, I call him, even though he's young. Big Kevin Sperry, who we got from Texas area to come to the nose. This is your year, buddy. It's time, man. I just can't wait till he touches the field and have the reins to himself and see what he could do with this offense in Florida State.
Y'all go 2-10 again. I'm sending you that stimmy, bro.
Man, listen. Send me the stimmy without the 2-10. But nah, I think we definitely get bowl eligible. I've been working on some things with the crazy work schedule amongst other things going on. I'm gonna definitely come to y'all with that review, season review, as well as the outtake with the portal and everything. So we're getting the text and we'll get that sorted out for the next couple of days that I'll be off. Try to bring that to the people as well. Outside of that, man, just like I said, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure y'all tune into the channels that y'all see scrolling at the bottom. You got at WTP for Life. You got at Postgame 86. You got SEC Sean. You have myself, Level Up Sports 10. We got City League TV. We have One Take Zay. We also have Griffey Griff, the great that's going to be coming, and the main man, the Blitzburg podcast, Parlay Poe, with some of the hottest, if not the greatest, one-take punchlines that you will see when you jump on any podcast in the world. That's Parlay Poe of Blitzburg. So make sure you stay locked in, tuned in with us each and every day. Put them notifications on because we're coming to you live and direct, shorts, videos, you name it. And City League TV will be back, coming to you live this week with some high school basketball, maybe middle school basketball. Just like and subscribe to all the channels we just named, and you'll get all the flavors each and every day we going live and we tuned in. So outside of that, we greatly appreciate y'all tuning in this evening. As for us, we about to get out of here and get to our evening because it's still sports. So as for y'all, enjoy this great snow and stay cool, stay warm. Don't go out in it. It's not that good. Outside of that, we was in the building and we out, as T1 say. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, fellas.